Is everything okay? So sorry guys, but I probably won't be able to read y'all's guys' comments as while I'm doing the class. So because I'm doing it the other way. But hope you guys can hear me. Me. Alito. Chuma. So I hope you guys made it through the rain. Did everybody get the extra papers set up at the table? Everybody got them? Okay, cool. So that's what we're going to be going over today. So, before we get started, have here on the board, Alito, Chokma. Does anybody want to try to take a guess? If I haven't told you already, does anybody want to try to take a guess on what this means? Kinda, almost like that. So this, and so I'm just going to do it one by one. Hush means you all. So you hush. Damn. No, hush means you all. And then ayala, or ayala, is the plural form of to arrive here. So many people arriving here. And then come is a conjunction, which we're going to get deep into this. I'm just going to go over this book right with you guys. And so don't worry too much about it. You don't have to remember it if you don't want to. It's fine. I'm just giving you a little bit. And then a chukma, that one's a hard one. Does anybody know what a chukma means? Good. It just means good. So put it all together. It means it's good that you are all here. But really, it means like it's good that you all arrived here. But when we translate things into English, sometimes we can change the English a little bit just to make it fit. And so, every time I say Hush I always say it's good that you guys are here. So, all right. So that's that for that. And so if you want to write that down, you can do that if you need to, if you want to. So I'm gonna try to figure out where I want to stand because I want everybody to see this. And we got people on the live there too that's trying to watch it too. So, one thing I wanted to make sure I wanted to say is that when we learn this Choctaw, that what I'm going to teach you, I would say it's more of textbook Choctaw. And what I mean by that is like I used to say proper Choctaw, but every time I say that, people get shy. So I don't say proper Choctaw because what I mean by that is that when you go to school and you learn English, you learn proper English. You say hello, how are you? I'm doing well, stuff like that. But we don't talk like that. How you all doing? That's what we say. Yeah. And so most of the time when I'm teaching you, it's kind of that way. And so I will say, if you heard it different from your parents, grandparents, or if you know it to be different, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You can keep on saying that. I'm just going to teach the textbook way, and if it comes across that I can figure out how to tell you how speakers will say it, then I will probably tell you how to say that too. It's like this is textbook, how to say it's good that you guys are here. But I think a fluent speaker might say, Hashlaga Chuma. Hashlaga Chuma. And so they'll like cut out some of it. And you'll see that. And so that's one disclaimer I will say, that what I'm teaching you is kind of textbook Choctaw. So I don't want you guys to get all rattled up and tell people, oh, he's teaching you wrong. Because we have too many of that. We have too much of that. We should be encouraging each other. So it's okay if I teach you this, but if I teach you this and you learn it like this, you're going to say it, but naturally you're going to cut it down short. And so that's what I want us to get to. Because in English, we learn how to say, I am going to the store. But how do we really say it? I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. We don't even say that. We don't say it properly. And so naturally, you're going to cut things down. Today, like I said, on Facebook, I don't know if you guys have joined my Facebook or not Facebook group, but I did create a Facebook group for this class, and it's called Choctaw with Josh. So if you find that on Facebook, you can add that, and I'm going to be posting all of these papers that we're going to be using for the class. So if you guys want to join too, if you guys want to join that Facebook group, then you can get all the papers that we're going to be using. All right? Okay. So, just like I said on the group, we're going to be kind of reviewing the vowel sounds again, and then whenever we get done with the vowel sounds, which would probably be pretty quick because last time we spent the whole hour doing the vowels, but we'll do it a little bit faster today. We're going to go over these word lists that I gave you. And so, if you guys download it on Facebook, then you can look it on there too. And then we're going to start trying to get into introductions. Because just like me being up here teaching a class, I have to introduce myself to you all. So if I got one of you, anybody, would you know how to come up here and introduce yourself? Would you be confident in introducing yourself? Probably not. Someone? Alright, that's fine. Yeah. We have a princess here too, so she's probably good at it. So. Alright, so you guys want to take a look at this paper that has vowels. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the vowel sounds. Alright, so what does this letter make? What sound is it? Ah. Ah. So say it again. Ah. 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 There you go. Yeah, like you're surprised. Ah. Alright, what about this one right here? Yeah. So, and just like I said last time, sometimes this might sound like eh, but for this class we're going to try to just focus on E. That way it's just easier that way. Easier. Alright, and then what about this one? Oh, I almost heard O. It's not O, remember? O. O. So let's say it together. O. 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 Yeah, remember to keep your mouth rounded when you say O. Alright? What about this one? Does everybody remember what this is called? Upsilon. Yeah, upsilon. So this letter is taken from the Greek alphabet, but we borrow it because it makes that sound. So what does that sound make? You know, like I hear something here, something there, something here. So remember it's ah, 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 ah. So it's more like a UH. Ah, ah, ah. Alright. Well, we'll get into that. Just keep practicing that because it gets easier as you go on. What about this one right here? Say it again. It. So it's more of it. And remember, these are the short sounds, so you want to do them quicker. So it. Alright, so say it. It. Alright, what about this one? So remember that the U makes the same sound as the O, but it's just shorter. So this one is O, and this one is O. So go ahead and say that. Make sure you don't hold it out. Don't say anybody in the gut? No, don't go around it. Alright, so what about this letter right here? Yeah, I see someone holding their nose. That's okay, that's okay. Cool, what is this? I guess one back, what's the right side? Yeah. Alright, so again, what does that sound like? There you go. What about this one right here? Yeah, there you go. What about this one? These ones are gonna trip you guys up. So, repeat after me. Yeah, if you need to hold your nose, do it. Remember, you can't talk to people, hold your nose. So don't hold your nose when you're doing it. Alright, so one more time. Let's just go through it real quick. That one. Alright, so I wrote it down for you on the paper that the top row from left to right is the long vowel. So these ones right here, these are the long vowels right here. And then the middle row from left to right is the short vowels. So these ones right here, these are the short vowels. And then the bottom row from left to right is the nasalized sounds. So I wrote on there also that vowels are important because one wrong vowel can change the meaning of a word. Say, for example, let me write it up here for you because sometimes I have people on class, so I want to make sure they can see it too. But, okay. I'll write it in lowercase. So, how do you think you say that? Okay. Some people know. Does anybody know how to say this one? Remember, we don't have no oohs in our Choctaw, so it's not a kuna. I heard it. It's not the kuna matata. Okay. So this is why vowel sounds are important because you can easily mistake these. So if I say, if I'm learning Choctaw and I say Choctaw Anupa Economy, that means I know Choctaw. So if you say that to a speaker, guess what they're going to do? They're going to start rattling off to you. And so it's important because you want to say Choctaw Anupa Economy. Economy. So let's try to say these words individually. You don't have to worry about that phrase. But Econa. 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 said, you don't have to remember that. You don't have to write it down if you don't want to. We're just focusing on the sound. So, the way I always say it, if it's hard for you to read these things and try to figure out what they sound like, break it up. Ik, ah, na. Ik, ah, na. One more time. Ik, ah, na. So now when you say it, ikana, ikana, ikana. So, in proper textbook terms, we should be saying ikana, ikana. When you say it and speaking, the H gets silent just a little bit. Just a little bit. So instead of saying ikana with a hard H, you say ikana, ikana. You see how it almost disappears? Ikana, but it's still there. And then likewise here, let's try it. Ik, na. Well, this one's long, so na. So, ik, na. Ik, na. Okay? So then when you put it all together, ikana. 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 So remember, this is kind of like that one where the H almost gets silent. If you say it slow enough, it almost sounds like it comes back. Ikana. 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 And so, sometimes, whenever you hear it, it might sound like there's two K's. Ikana. 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 But if you listen properly, ikana. Ikana. Alright? So let's try that again. Ikana. 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 There you go, yeah. So that's the importance of the vowel sound. So the letter A, what does that make? Oh, not A. What sound does it make? Ah. What about E? E. What about the letter O? O. What about the upsilon? Okay, let's just all go up. There you go. Now the letter I. There you go. It. What about the letter U? Oh. Oh. There you go. I just hear it. Alright, about the nasalized A. What about the nasalized I? E. What about the nasalized O? Oh. There you go. Yeah. So you guys keep on practicing that because just because we're learning it now, we learned it last week, it's not going to get easier unless you practice. All right? Oh, okay, cool. So now we're going to get into these words. So if you want to look at the word list, you'll see a whole bunch of words. Some of them you might know, some of them you probably don't know. But we're going to get into them because, and we're not going to focus on the meaning, we're just going to focus on sounds, okay? So, first word. How do you think you say that word? Alright, someone raise your hand. Who wants to take that? No, not Ochi. Abachi. Abachi, yeah. Abachi. What letter is this? This is the I, right? Chi. Alright? So that's how you pronounce that sound. And if you want to know what that word is, it means to teach. To teach. So right now, Hachimavali, or I butchered that so bad. Hachimavachili. Hachimavachili. I am teaching you all. Hachimavachili. That's to teach. So remember, disclaimer I said last week, I'm not a English speaker, so I'm going to make it serious. But I do know enough to keep going teaching you guys. So now we're going to look at the next word. saying chi, pu, sig, ma. So I'm making sure to say ma, alright? But I will say that sometimes I think speakers, they'll soften this, the nasal sounds a lot. And so instead of saying chi, pu, sig, ma, like that, that's hard like that, they'll say chi, pu, sig, ma. They'll say it like that. And so it's kind of being quieter as the speakers go. So again, let's say it one more time. Chi, pu, sig, ma. Now all together, chi, pu, sig, ma. Chi, pu, sig, ma. And so what does that mean? That means soon. Soon. But in quotations in the future. Quotations in the future. So if I would use this in a sentence, I would say chi, pu, sig, ma. Like soon, I'll go back to my house. So soon. But there's also another word that's achivakma. That means after a while. But like I said, I'm just giving you a little extra stuff. So chikusikma, let's do it one more time. Chikusikma. 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 What does that mean? Soon, yeah. In the future, yeah. Alright. I know this one's the longest one we have. So how do you say this word right here? Who wants to try to take us out of that? Nobody's raising their hand. Everybody's saying this. Anybody want to try? You tried it, you said X. Come on, do you think that's right? What do we learn? What do we learn from the long vowels? E. So it's eat. 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 Yeah, that's right though. No, that's a common mistake though. That is a common mistake. People see this word and they'll say it or X. That's what we would say in English. And so I don't fault you guys for that. If you guys say it wrong, I'm not saying it's wrong because I'm trying to punish you. I'm trying to help you guys with your pronunciation because we're trying to preserve the sounds now. And so, and I'll go on a little tangent here saying that a lot of people are saying, especially the speakers, that the language is changing. And so it's kind of hard to try to keep some of these sounds, especially when speakers are saying, oh, it's changing. They're speaking new Choctaw. They're not speaking it right. But instead of helping us, they just criticize us. But we want to be encouraging to them, and I'm not trying to make it all somber, but we're trying to do the best we can, you know. We want to try to preserve these sounds. And so that's why I know so hard on these vowel sounds, so that you guys won't hear those things from speakers saying, oh, if you can't speak it right, then don't speak it at all. I've heard that before too. If you don't speak it right, don't speak it at all. That's kind of sad that people say that, you know? That's sad that people will say that. Fluent speakers will say that to you. And so that's why a lot of people stop, because they get so discouraged. And they don't want to try, because speakers will say that. That's not how I heard it. That's not how I learned it. You're not even saying it right. But we got to keep on going, because if we're not the ones that's going to preserve this language, who is? And so I'm sorry if I like to get like that, but I really want you guys to have this. I really want you guys to have this, because I don't want nobody to say nothing about it. And if you know, they say something, just say, I'm the one that's talking, all right? Because then they can come talk to me, and I'll go get my fluent speaker that taught me, and then she can give them an earful. But no, don't go being mad at each other, because we're all here to help each other, all right? And so if someone just says that stuff, just turn the cheek, as the Bible says. And so you don't want to get discouraged. And that's the last thing I want, is you guys to get discouraged. continue on. Let's bring the mood back. All right.
What does that mean, John?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me write this real quick. I can't do two things at once. I don't know how I did that. Come on. All right. So the other word, et, that's pronounced as eat, is just a directional word, like towards the speaker. That one's hard to describe, and so I just have to give you a sentence. So if someone says, I want to tell you something, you can say, itamanole. So tell it to me. So I guess I'll just go into it just a little bit. So eat, since I'm already talking about it. So if I said, Ofiya eat malili. So Ofiya malili means the dog is running. But if I put eat in the middle of it, that means the dog is running towards me, towards the speaker. So whoever's speaking is going in their direction. But pit here, so now I'm going to say Ofiya pit malili. So now what do you think that means? If eat means it's coming towards me, then pit must mean what? It's going away. Yeah. So pit is just, we don't have this in English. We don't have directional words. No, I mean, I don't know if you know. In Choctaw, we have these directional words where like people can say, eat tamanoli, like tell it to me. Because if I said pick tamanoli, I would have to go like this. Hey, how are you doing today? Because I'm facing away from you, right? And so, eat in the direction of the speaker, and then pick away from the speaker. Alright?
I would always hear my mother say,
Itama? Yeah, Itama, yeah. So, if I said, King Shuffle, Itama. Yeah, there you go. That means your hat, give it to me. So that's another thing. I guess better hurry up. But I won't go on this last second part. Then we'll keep going on. But politeness is built into the Choctaw language. All right. So the words that we have in English, like please, even thank you, honestly, and then you're welcome, excuse me, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Those words don't exist in Choctaw. And so how do we be polite in Choctaw? Just like I said, the politeness is built into the language, so we don't need those things. So if I just went up to him just like I did, I'd say, "She shuffle, you come on." Say it politely. But if I say, "She shuffle, eat the ma," give it to you, you know. So it's all about how you say things. So you can say it the most polite way, but when you translate it in English, it sounds rude. But this is also one of those cases where it almost gets silenced. So you might hear fina, fina, but try to say fitna, fitna. So, but either way, if you say fina or fitna, people are going to understand what you're saying, right? And that just means like really, very, and so I could say on pepper, chocolate fina. So my Dr. Pepper is really delicious, or very delicious, and so fitna, very, or really, depending on how you want to use it. All right. All right. Who wants to try to say this one? Don't say it out loud. There you go. Aksubish, yeah, Aksubish. All right, so let's break it down. Aksubish. Very easy. It's only 3 syllables. So say it with me. Aksubish. You hear how like this one's kind of fast? Bish. Aksubish. When you say it, Aksubish. Aksubish. So you can drag out this SH, but just not the I. Aksubish. Aksubish. Who knows what Aksubish is? Ear. Yeah, it means ear. Ear. So I hope you're listening with your Aksubish. Alright, that one was pretty easy. We're starting to get it. Now this one might trip you guys up, so we're going to work on it. Who wants to try that? Thiba? You got Thiba? No, it's not Thiba. What is this? It. Remember? So now try it. Hippa. Hippa. So if you want to say it with the TH, you say Thippa. Thippa. THI. Say that. Thippa. But if you want to try to say it the old way, say Hippa. Hippa. That one's harder. Hippa. So let's say it. Let's just try to say it with the TH for now. Dip. 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 Then see where I'm getting at with all these words, and I'm trying to do the sounds to help you understand how to say them. So again, dip, Now say it together. Thippa. Thippa. What does that mean? Anybody know? It just means like used or run down. So you can say, my used car or my run down car is still running. So thippa is like used or like worn out kind of. So thippa, thippa, thippa. You guys actually did that a lot faster than I thought.
What do you call that HL?
What's that?
Is there that HL? When you say EH instead of HL? Is there a word for that?
For
Description of that?
description of the HL?
Yeah.
Did you get the packet from last week? Were you here last week?
No.
No? Okay. So I have this packet. Well, I'll kind of go over it, but I didn't get the packet.
Okay.
So the HL is, I'll just say it again because it is something that needs to be said. HL is an aspirated L sound. And so it's an old Choctaw sound that we used to say all the time. So if you think about somebody with a list, that's kind of what it sounds like, but that's kind of how you can say it. So hippa, hippa. If you want to say it like, I'll give you other words like ifoli, I wrote it in the packet too, just so you can read it. But HL, we use HL when it comes before a vowel. So we use LH when it comes before consonant. So they have the correct spelling for each. So if it comes before a vowel, you'll write it HL. But if it comes before a consonant, then you'll write it LH. And they sound exactly the same, so you don't have to worry about it, alright? It's just for spelling purposes that they write it like that. And I guess I should also mention that a lot of this stuff comes from Choctaw Language Department, and I did learn from them, and so this is their teachings. But also, it comes from the dictionaries as well. If you look at some of the dictionaries, you might see it written like this. Have you actually seen that? That's actually what these sound like, but in an actual, like, proper writing. But to make it easier, because you don't want to get that confused with the L, they just do it LH or HL, just to make it easier, alright? So, did that answer your question? Okay. Just making sure. Alright, now. I think after this we're going to get into introductions because we're fairly close. So, what about this one? I hear a couple of people say, "It be shopney." It be shopney. No, say it. It be shopney. Alright. So this one's by itself. It shop. Or the other one shop. And then knee. So it big shop knee. It big shop knee. So if you shop knee, just say that to me. If you shop knee, come on. Alright. So that means the nose. The nose. So in the dictionary you'll probably see it like this, but this also can mean, this is like the dictionary form. Anything with like I can say your nose, my nose, her nose, our nose. But in the dictionary you'll always find it with an I. And so that's the dictionary form, but a lot of times if you say if you shop me, it means his or her nose. So I would say, I thought you'd be shoving yet shop. So that man's nose is sweating. So if you shop me, and we'll get into that too, like pronouns and stuff like that. But in action form or in like somebody's stuff, a lot of the times we don't have pronouns for he, she, or it. But we cover it with this. Like I said, we're going to go over that when we get to there. But so I'll let you guys go through the rest of them on your own, and you try to figure out how you pronounce them. All right, and then we'll try to come back next week and we'll figure that out. But I want to go over introductions real quick before we run out of time here. So if you guys want to look at, if you have your packets, and try to bring your packets every week because we're going to be using them for a while, all right? So if you have your introductions, it starts with Politeness. And if you look really, really close, you'll notice that I spelled Politeness incorrectly. But this is the correct spelling, if you didn't know. Sometimes I can be, what is that called, dyslexic? So I misspell words. That's okay. Alright, and you see that it says stop. We're going to go over sounds too, just so you can where the H kind of gets cut off just a little bit. So, ho, ho. So if you put your hand to your close to your mouth, you say ho. You should feel that air going through your mouth. So, ho, ho, ho. And so, like I said, with the feet now, that this one almost gets cut out altogether. So some people might say porchifo, porchifo. If you want to kind of try to say the textbook way, you say porchifo, porchifo, porchifo. And this is kind of the thing where, some of this might get changed due to speakers. Because over time, language does change on its own. Like English has changed so much since, way back when. We don't talk like we used to back then, but you might hear some people say porchifo, porchifo. But for here, we're going to say porchifo. Alright? So, po, chip, po. Po, chip, po. Now say porchifo, porchifo. There you go. Yeah. So, sa over there means my. So, everybody do this. My. Sa. Sa. Alright, now, porchifo. That means name. Name. And I don't know what happened here. My hair got way in. I swear.
You're doing hair art.
Doing hair art, yes. Okay, so let's say this one. Yes. 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 You ever watch football and go, but? Just take that H off and replace it with a Y. Yep. But I'll probably hear people going, yep. But I don't want you to do that. Just, yep. And so, that's a subject marker. And we'll go into that. We're just worried about the sound. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that. Some people might say it can stand for is. Sa, which yes. So my name is. I don't like to say that because then they always say that yat means is. So if I say, like Josh, that's yeah. You can't say, well, I guess you can't say Josh. So it does work sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't work like that. But we'll just know that it's a subject marker, okay? So let's say it really slow, all right? By syllable by syllable. So sa, ho, chi, ho, yes. All right? One more time. Sa, ho, chi, ho, yes. All right. So all together, repeat after me. All right? Sa, ho, chi, ho. Upload. Upload means listen. Upload. Repeat after me. Sa, ho, chi. One more time. Repeat after me. Sa, ho, chi, ho, yes. All right. Well, we'll work on that too. All right. So, everybody this time after me. Sa, ho, chi, ho, yes. 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 Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And then what is this blank space for? Yeah. It's just, you don't have to say that. Hey, no, yeah, you're right. It's for your name. It's for your name. So, if I want to put my name there, I would say Sa Chifuya Josh. Sa Chifuya Josh. All right. So, I don't want you guys to say Sa Chifuya Josh, but we're just gonna make up a name. Okay, we're just gonna say George. Let's just say Sa Chifuya George. Sa Chifuya George. There you go. Yeah. Now you know how to say my name is. So, and we're going to be working on these for a little bit because in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have you guys get up and introduce yourselves to each other. If you guys get familiar with each other, you guys are going to want to talk to each other. All right? That's what I want you guys even before you leave, introduce yourself to me, but in Choctaw. One of the elders that taught me, she always says, you know, people can say whatever they want to me, but if they say it in English, we're going to have problems. But if they say it in Choctaw, that's perfectly fine. Because she loves to hear Choctaw, and so she's like, you can say whatever you want to me in Choctaw, but I'll just laugh right at you. Hey. But yeah, so there's one thing I will say also as we're closing this up, I want you guys to continue to practice those vowel sounds, okay? Practice those vowel sounds. And you got that word list, so you can continue to practice those. And also, don't forget your introduction here. Because next week, I believe, next week, we're going to work on this, and then we're going to learn where we're from. All right? So, one last little bit thing, I guess, is speak. Anupale. When you go home, anupale. When you sing in the shower, anupale. When you're on a long drive, anupale. When you're, just sitting around the house, anupale.
And people say you to single too. People can sing you to single.
Yeah. You might be considered tasimbo at that point, but that's okay. And if you don't know what tasimbo means, that means crazy. So. But that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. I'll give you another little joke too. Is that long time ago when I was a kid, I remember a lot of commercial jingles, and not because I'll give you one. A long time ago, I heard only Brahms makes it so much more. Or there's another one. It's like standing still makes your carpet cleaner. It's like, why do I know that? Not because I studied it. Not because I went down and wrote the words and I was like, oh, I better learn this. It's because I kept hearing it, I kept hearing it. When you hear a song that you hear all the time, what do? You start humming the tune. And then eventually, if you listen to it long enough, you might start singing the words. That's the same thing you got to do with language learning. You have to hear it all the time. If you don't have speakers, then just look on YouTube or something like that. I got some stuff on there. Listen to what you can. But also, you need to hear yourself speak it. You have to speak it yourself. Because I always say that you can sound like, the best singer in the world, a celebrity singer in your head, but when it comes out, it might sound like a dying duck. You don't want to sound like a dying duck when you're speaking Choctaw. But that's why it's important to get the words out. You have to say it, all right? So keep on saying it, keep on speaking it. And so I'm going to leave you guys with that, and I'll say, until next time, peace a lot to give. That's what it is. You guys are ready to go. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you guys learned something. Hachapin Salachigi.